Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, and we're going to be kicking off 2020 with a bang with today's battle. That is, of course, not with, current events in Iran. Hopefully, if World War III hasn't broken out by this time next week, we'll still be talking about Osprey's result in this random battle. Osprey is sailing everybody's favourite South Dakota class battleship, Big Mammy herself, the USS Massachusetts. It's a Tier 8 premium. Available in two flavours, the regular Massachusetts and the Massachusetts B, and this ship is basically awesome. She's pretty quick, she's armed with 9 16-inch guns, although their accuracy leaves something to be desired. But that doesn't really matter in this ship, because in this ship it's all about getting in close and brawling where the guns can't really miss. And when I say they're inaccurate, I mean, they're not that bad. I mean, there's inaccurate and then there's inaccurate. We're not talking Richelieu standards of appallingly bad gunnery here. They're all right. You shouldn't expect to regularly hit targets at long range, but when you do, oh, they're not going to have a good time. Because the Massachusetts fires the same super heavy 16-inch armor-piercing ammunition as the Iowa and the Montana. She also enjoys what's arguably the best anti-aircraft defensive suite at Tier 8, and then, of course, there are her secondaries. The Massachusetts secondary gun batteries are the functional equivalent of having 2 USS Fletchers strapped to each side of the ship. Yes, really. Arguably, the secondaries aren't as effective as the secondary batteries that you find on ships like the Bismarck, Tirpitz, Frederick the Great, and Grosse Kurfürst. But only arguably, because while the German battleships definitely have fearsome secondaries, they kind of require a much more expensive captain in order to get the most out of them. See, the Germans have a lot of 105mm guns, and you really need the IFHE skill. Even with the built-in German superior high explosive penetration, you kind of need the IFHE skill to really get the most out of them, and then you're going to be setting less fires. By contrast, on the Massachusetts, you don't really gain that much from having the IFHE skill. So you can run the Massachusetts with a cheaper captain that doesn't require to be as specialised, and set an absolute shit ton of fires. The only real downside to the Massachusetts is that she's not really, well, she's not terrible as a training ship for your other American battleship captains, but you're not really getting the most out of the ship if you're using the kind of captain that would work well on the Iowa or the Montana, for example. You do kind of have to specialise a little to get the most out of this ship. You're going to want skills like basic firing training for a faster reload on your secondaries. You're probably going to want skills like advanced firing training for longer range on the secondaries to get it up to 11.3 kilometers. And it certainly doesn't hurt to get skills like manual fire control. None of these are skills that are really useful or necessary on other American battleships, but they're the kind of skills that you're probably going to want on the Massachusetts. Decent hit on the Monarch there. Not earth-shattering, but not bad either. Monarch returning fire with high explosives, set to double fire. He immediately extinguishes that. The Monarch's already done the worst that it can do. He's going to be in cover behind the island before the Monarch can fire again and potentially set him on fire again, so that's completely safe. He's managed to get a second salvo away against the Monarch, however. Oh, that looks like it's going to be good. Well, again, not bad. Acceptable. We'll take it. Oh look, an enemy Megami, the Japanese Tier 8 cruiser. That guy has seriously overextended. Swing the arse around. Get some shots out. This could be a kill, you know, if he hits him. And it looks like everybody... How can you tell when somebody's seriously overextended? Everybody's shooting at them. That's a clue. No, not quite. Damn it. He's actually getting away with it. I kind of like the Megami, but you don't see many of them, and that's for a good reason. It's basically made of citadels. Guns are reloaded. That should be a kill. Remember, cool ships don't look at explosions. Got it. Oh, it nearly looked. And there's the first blood award. I'm amazed the Megami lasted as long as he did. Now, to finish off the Monarch. This Monarch isn't technically the most exposed ship on the enemy team. There's always turning in. Oh no, you don't want to be doing that this close to a whole bunch of 16-inch guns. Oh wait, no, he's starting to recover some health and he's starting to turn out again. I think he spotted the Massachusetts at the last possible second and was able to avoid getting a monstrous spanking. He is still getting focused pretty heavily here. Osprey's secondaries are working him over as well. I was just saying, the Monarch over there isn't the most overextended ship on the enemy team, but he's the most overextended ship on the enemy team that anybody can see and shoot at the moment. If you look at the minimap, there was a Bismarck spotted, currently hidden behind an island, all the way over on the western map border. Secondaries have set a fire. Still hasn't actually done that much damage. Oh, hang on a second. Benson. Definitely using manual secondaries here. This is at least a 14-point captain. Targeting the Benson with the secondaries. Monarch. That is definitely a double fire. And it's in fact the fire set by the secondaries, not the 16-inch guns, that's going to finish him off. And there's kill number 2. That Bismarck that I mentioned over on the western map border has just been spotted by torpedo bombers, and he's at least 10 to 12 kilometers away from his nearest teammate. So, since he's spotted by the torpedo bombers anyway, he fires a salvo at Osprey. Doesn't really do any damage. But yeah, no teammates near him to defend him from air attack, so the Lexington's going to be having fun playing with the Bismarck. Meanwhile, shots out. And that's kill number 3. The Cleveland didn't know what hit it. Secondaries are blazing away again as the Lexington continues to play with its food over on the western map border. The Benson momentarily spotted up. Everybody's popping hydro at the moment. The Cossack up ahead, and Osprey's division mate in the Bayard, in response to the potential torpedo threat posed by the Benson hitting the smokescreen up ahead. That Bismarck over on the west is going to have to be dealt with. He's probably not really been enjoying his World of Warships experience so far today too much. As well as getting torpedoed by the Lexington, he's also being chased by another Bismarck and an Attigo. And it looks like the Attigo is just sending a 203mm high explosive care package in his direction, but he does have Osprey's broadside, and at the moment he's returning fire to his pursuers, but, well, yeah. He's a threat. He's going to need to be dealt with. First salvo did a fair amount of damage, but didn't finish it. You'll notice that the secondaries keep opening up as the Benson keeps popping in and out of vision. He's definitely going to have to finish off that Bismarck. Oh yeah, the Bismarck has spotted the opportunity. Although he either anticipated that Osprey was going to turn out and loaded the high explosive, or he's a potato and he loaded the high explosive. Rear turrets ready to fire, shots out. Forward turrets ready to fire, shots out. Oh, and there's the Benson. Benson's torpedo spotted, no threat. Everybody knows the Benson's there. They're all running hydro. The Bismarck is down, kill number 4, final salvo landed. Benson did the right thing, tried to get out of the smoke screen, but the Lexington's dive bombers caught him, although he has just managed to go undetected, but the Massachusetts secondary shots were in the air. The Benson has succumbed. There's a close quarters expert award to go with a Kraken Unleashed for the 5th kill. Oh, enemy Enterprise spotted. You know, it's not often you get to deal damage to the enemy carrier while the carrier's teammates are still alive, so we'll take that opportunity. Oh. Looks like the Benson did manage to get a torpedo reload off before he got finished, and one of those has hit. Only 8,000 damage though. The Massachusetts does have pretty good torpedo damage reduction, and he did manage to score 12,000 damage on the Enterprise before he went undetected, although there are still some shots in the air, so perhaps the Enterprise isn't going to get away completely scot-free. Damage control's on cooldown, but it's only the one flood. The days when a flood was the equivalent of 2 or 3 fires in damage over time are long gone. So even though the damage control is back off cooldown, Osprey isn't going to burn it on a single flood. Burn it on a flood? Doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense, does it? Whatever. You know what I mean. Of course, now the flood's burnt itself out? Yeah, I really need to come up with a better verb. You wouldn't believe that this is my native language, would you? Oh, I suck so much. Anyway, a couple of shots out at the Cleveland, although none of them appeared to hit. And yes, there is an enemy destroyer inside that smokescreen. But the person in the biggest trouble right now is the enemy Massachusetts B. You see, with that island behind him, he's got two choices. Continue giving broadside to not just Osprey's Massachusetts, but also a Bismarck and a North Carolina, or turn towards them, because he can't turn away. There's an island in the way. So he's probably seriously regretting some of his life choices around about now. Oh, and he's been set on fire as well. Oh, look. Torpedoes. And there's the Kagero that launched them. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the Kagero was thinking here, because he stayed inside that smokescreen until the Atago was so close he proximity detected him. And he's going to kill the Atago, because you can't really miss from that range. But did he achieve anything there he couldn't have done from 6 kilometers away, where he wouldn't have been detected, and he wouldn't have fed Osprey his second close quarters expert award and his 6th kill? And if any further proof were needed that silhouetting yourself between an island and 3 tier 8 battleships was an incredibly bad idea, just take a look at what's happening to that Massachusetts Bravo. And there's kill number 7. Next, North Carolina or Cleveland. Or for that matter, there's a Tirpitz to the south. Well, nobody's actually targeting Osprey, so he focuses his secondaries on the Tirpitz. The North Carolina has realised that islands are best used between yourself and anybody who might be shooting at you. And so he lines up 9 super heavy 16-inch armour piercing shells at the Cleveland, who appears to realise that his doom is approaching, pops his radar in panic, not quite sure what good that's going to do, and narrowly escapes by the skin of his teeth after receiving a paddling of epic proportions. Meanwhile, the secondaries have set the Tirpitz on fire. The Tirpitz currently enjoying an extremely unwelcome and probably very brief moment in the limelight as the only enemy ship that anybody is capable of shooting at. And so, well, that's what they're doing. Osprey spots the North Carolina coming out, but, well, the shells are already in the air, and that's kill number 8 on the Tirpitz. So who's next? Well, the secondaries are already working the North Carolina over, but they're probably only really going to set some fires. Oh, there's the Cleveland. There are only 3 enemy ships left at this point, and the North Carolina does some decent raking damage across the superstructure with his 16-inch armour piercing. Well, the rest of the team had their chance to finish off the Cleveland, and they blew it. Osprey is entirely happy to finish what he started, with kill number 9. That just leaves the Enterprise and an extremely unfortunate North Carolina, who's already receiving the attention of the friendly Lexington. Now at this point I'm pretty sure that North Carolina is just thinking, well, I'm proper fucked now, aren't I? So I may as well try to get as many guns firing as I possibly can. And to a degree you can sympathise, but really when you've got a Bismarck and a Massachusetts within 7 kilometres, it's really not a good idea. And there's kill number 10. That, yes, really, kill number... I know there are only 12 ships on the enemy team, and he has killed 10 of them. There's still 1 left. The Enterprise. And oh yeah, speak the devil's name, and here he comes. The Massachusetts does have very good AA, and I'm pretty sure he's close enough to the Bismarck to be getting some kind of benefit from the Bismarck's AA as well. But at the same time, he's taken a lot of high explosive hits so far in this game, including a couple of large caliber high explosive hits from the Bismarck and the Monarch, so he's probably lost a fair amount of his AA. And in fact, the Enterprise manages to come back from the other side with 2 surviving aircraft, and manages to score a 4th torpedo hit. Didn't do a huge amount of damage though, did it? And that's for 2 reasons. First, the Massachusetts does have very good torpedo damage reduction. And also, Tier 8 airdrop torpedoes, they don't do a huge amount of damage. Well, they kind of do and they kind of don't. I mean, they do more damage than a Tier 6 aircraft carrier's torpedoes, but the targets that they're attacking have bigger health pools. I mean, the Enterprise's torpedo bombers, the TBF Avenger, they drop torpedoes that do around about 6,500 damage. And they will drop up to 3 torpedoes at a time, so nearly 20,000 damage. But that's if all three of them hit, and the Massachusetts has nearly 50% torpedo damage reduction. So it's often, well, how can I put this? If you're in a ship like the Massachusetts, and an Enterprise, for example, is lining up for a torpedo drop on you, turning to avoid that torpedo drop means giving broadside to something like North Carolina, or an Amagi, or a Bismarck, or a Tirpitz. It's often better to just eat the torpedoes, because with 50% torpedo damage reduction, at worst, you're only going to take 10,000 damage. Oh, and there's the high caliber award. Well, it's not a 50% torpedo damage reduction on the Massachusetts. It's close. I think it's, I can't remember the exact figure, but it's high. It's like 46%. So, ooh, could this be kill number 11? Oh, where did that Enterprise go? The shots are in the air. Yep, that's kill number 11. The only one he missed was the enemy Charles Martel, who was killed by the friendly Bismarck right between Osprey's kill on the enemy Bismarck and the enemy Benson. So it's nice to think that he could have gotten the 12 kills, but there was no way for him to kill the Charles Martel at the time when it died. I don't think he even had a line of fire on it. It was on the other side of an island. So, yeah, I suppose we'll just have to settle for 11 out of 12 enemy ships killed. What a way to start off the new year. Osprey in the USS Massachusetts. Frankly, I think it was just a vulgar display of showing off. But I hope you all enjoyed it. And welcome to 2020. And as always, take care. And I'll catch you next time.